with supplementary protection through NPRs based on the levels of threat. So we agreed we'll work on a framework. Maybe the numbers will be little. And then we also put another requirement that according also to our intelligence, we have an idea where the firearms could be concentrated, the illegal firearms. So part of that engagement is that as we provide the community NPRs, that they should also mobilize the communities to surrender illegal firearms. And of course, if they don't surrender voluntarily, we'll go and take them by force. So we will not discriminate against any particular community. Number two, on the issue of Laikipia IDPs, I would like to get that information. We will have supplies immediately dispatch those areas. Whether or not they were displaced from the gazetted areas, any Kenyan who is away from home and is living in a camp requires humanitarian support from government, even as we investigate why they have found themselves there. Yeah. They have not from the gazetted area, but because of the attacks, out of fear, they ran away. So the humanitarian support will be available if I can get the particular details. Number three, I agree with the Vice Chair on the failure of some of our officers to live up to our calling, and we are working hard to make sure that we reform ourselves before we are reformed by the public. The huge spaces that are ungoverned, part of our phase 2 involves domination and occupancy of all areas that have remained ungoverned and provided spaces for terror and banditry to thrive. So those gazetted areas, we will provide security dominance. We are going to cover the entire of that area with security facilities. Some of them will turn them into training facilities for our recruits and security agents, both the Kenya Defence Forces and the National Police Service, KWS, KFS. So there'll be training grounds, including Mukogodo Forest. And just now that I'm there, I can mention that issue of the indigenous community. We have directed our teams there on a case-by-case basis, where it is established that the people who were living there are indigenous people. Ways should be sought to put them in maybe one section, and they have a right to continue living in that forest. So I think that information is new information, because there are people who have indigenous communities and they are not even harmful. They don't steal any livestock, and they are known by the local community. If you spoke to our former speaker, Mzee Kaparo, he'll tell you the communities know the thieves, they know the indigenous groups there, and they are there just to harvest honey, and they live there. Those ones can be put in one corner in that forest and continue living there without interrupting their lifestyle, because they are not harmful to what we are doing. And if there are bandits who have accessed that place, then we will flush them out. The other issue is the mobility, again from the Vice Chair of the committee, the issue of a fluid operation. Actually, we are mixing both static and fluid operational formations. We have some special forces that are fluid. They are not static. And they are today they are in Koloa, another day they will be in Baragoi, another day we'll take them to Boni, another day, because, you know, having a static establishment is not a long-term solution. Criminals can have alternative ways of achieving their targets. So we have, especially within the special forces, fluid formations that move from one place to another. We've registered a lot of success, especially in the intersection of Elgeyo Marakwet and Tiati. We have a small problem of Kamulogon Forest, which is the intersection of West Pokot and Marakwet West. We have another small problem at the Amaya area, intersection of Baringo and Samburu. That's why you've had a few cases in the Pura area, Malaso and so forth. And so we have fluid formations that are supplementing the static formations. The other thing is Kisumu, Kericho. I'm sorry, my sister, the Member of Parliament for Kisumu West, if I appeared not to be on top of things. But contrary to that, actually, I'm very much on top of things. The only reason that I didn't have as much detail is the chairman said it was not part of the questions that I had come to answer. But I know for sure, and therefore I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. It was a supplementary matter. But now that you have raised it, Honorable Member, I agree with you. The recent stock theft is politics, which was, that problem arose around March when there were violent protests. And people disagreed because part of the community there was supporting violent protests, which is their democratic right. The other one was not supporting, and then they disagreed, and then it convoluted the commercial disputes. And then it gave some criminals now took advantage of that and started stealing cows. And what you have said is true. We have information, some of the information as to where that livestock has been destined to. I can report, Chair, that until now, 17 heads of cattle have been stolen from that area as a result of the current skirmish. We have recovered 11. Of those 17, 4 suspects, that means around 6 are still outstanding, and we have made it clear. I have instructed the Regional Commissioner of Rift Valley and the Regional Commissioner of Nyanza and their teams. The 6 outstanding heads of cattle must be recovered. If they are not recovered, then someone must take responsibility for it. Because we have leads, as the MP has said, we have leads to where that livestock could have been destined, even the ones that was killed. Chair, I can report we have arrested 4 suspects who have been colluding with the butchers in the area which the MP has said. And they are helping us with investigations. We will arraign them in court. So we are making good progress. It's not true that we can relax on a security matter touching on any part of our country.